Hello and welcome to the Lesley University LynXplore Student Engagement Portal. In this video, we will be showing you how to make a form for your club or organization. To create a form, you will first need to navigate to the admin portal through leslie.presence.io/admin and then select your organization and then select forms. You can also select forms through the sidebar here. Click Create a New Form, and it'll take you to the creation page, which is essentially a blank canvas for your form. So the first thing you want to do is click on Settings, where you can add in details about your form. Now, for this example, we are going to be creating a sample waiver form that the Campus Activities Board might use for a trip. It's also important to add your form description. You can choose whether or not it falls into a specific category. In this case, we do not currently have a waiver category, so we can leave that blank. You can also go into more advanced settings, such as if you want to create a custom success message. So say, for example, if a student was filling something out, maybe an application form, you can add more information here about what that response time might look like. You can also edit the visibility. So is this something where they will need to log into their Presence account to complete, or will they be able to do it anonymously? If you want to attach it to a different organization, so if you had gone to create a form through this link over here, you'll need to select Attach to Organization, and then you can choose your organization here. You can also attach it to a specific event. We do not currently have an event for this trip, but if we made one, we could attach it to the Big E trip. You can choose when you want your form to be available. So if you want to limit the number of responses a person can submit, which would be significant for if you were doing maybe virtual elections. If you want it to run for a certain time, you can customize that there. And then you can also choose who has access to your form. So say that I want my form to be available to every person who is an officer or maybe who is the president of my organization. They can access it, or they can edit and share, and you can add that in. So definitely a lot of different features there. You can also add approval processes. This may be slightly limited for those of you who are only club org members. I want to give the disclaimer that my page might look a bit different as I am a campus administrator, and so I have a lot more features. But if, say, for example, your form needs to be approved by your president or your advisor, you could create an approval there. And these are your basic form settings. If you click details, there you go. There. All right. So now you can go ahead and add information to your form. Now, a big thing that I want to point out here is that everything up here between basic and advanced are question and answer type modules. If you want to add descriptive text to your organization or specific headers, you'd use this layout option here. So you can add a content box and you just drag and drop. And then a new box will appear over here. You do not have to name it if you do not want to, but if you click Editor, that is where this large box opens up and you can add information such as I spelled Springfield wrong. That's okay. And any other information that you want, such as form needs to be completed by this date. If you have any questions, contact this person. And that is how these field settings work. Now, these are all drag and drop. So say I wanted to collect information from someone, I would drag the text box over here And now you have a text field, but you've changed this to your question. So if I want the person's name, you can choose the size of your box if you want it extra small, medium, large, and whether or not it is required. You can change the text settings. So if you had a question that might take a little longer to answer, you can choose whether or not that'll be a paragraph. Rich text gives the person filling it out the option to do things like bold or italic or insert bullets. So it really depends on what the needs of your forms are. So let's go ahead and put in, maybe we could put in a text box that says something along the lines of, if it wants to go in there, there we are. Say we are feeding people during the trip and we want to know if they have any allergies. That's a bit more, so I'll make that small. It's not required because not everyone has allergies, and then I can display it as a paragraph. And then the key feature is that forms do not auto-save, so you're going to want to save them as you are working. And once your form is saved, you actually have the option to preview what it will look like. So if you click this little arrow up here, you can click View Form, and it'll show you what it looks like when it's on the portal. Then here's what I mean. The line for a paragraph looks the same, but if I type, you'll see that it'll extend longer. So we go back to our form and the different types of fields that you can add. You can do numeric ranking systems, you can do choice. So say, let's drag this over here. And say, we have specific times for lunch. We can make this required, make that small, and then you click choice settings here. And so this is how you decide what type of choice this is, whether it will display as a drop-down menu, whether I want to list options, or whether I want them to check options. So we'll go ahead and do list options, and then you can add your options here. Note that you can't change this order once it's in there, so make sure that you have your ranking however you want it. So let's do an 11 to 12 lunch. Maybe we have 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. lunch. And then we have a 1 p.m. And then you'll see it'll show over here in real time. This actually isn't the one that I wanted. I wanted the checkbox. There you are. And so that's the different way that you can use the choice feature. Another feature that you have here is you can put in a date and time, such as if, say, you want to know if a person thinks they're going to be late to your event, and these are just examples from the top of my head. You can add in an email. So say I want their email with their name. Now, because I made the name box small, I can make this small as well. And then I can actually drag it up here to save space on my field. For the email field, you can actually set it to limit it to a specific domain. So if you want to make sure that people use their Lesley email addresses, you can add that in here. As a feature, and then we can get rid of that. You also have the option for them to upload a file, submit their signature. And so there's definitely lots of different customizable ways to make a form here. Another useful feature is field grouping. So field group actually bundles your answers together and really helps with the displaying of your form. So let's go back, and then we can drag and drop things either from our selection panel or things we've already created, you can drag them into your field group until you see that blue box. Sometimes the blue box fights you. And you can actually edit this like you would any other content. Like so. Now, another unique feature that I like about the forms is being able to do what are called conditionals. So say we had a question, maybe our 1 to 2 p.m. lunch block, we don't have a location for, so students will have to get that on their own. So we can go ahead and maybe add in an informational field. So I'm going to go ahead and add in just some content to add that here. And my content will essentially say, not that any of this would ever happen on a trip, but we are using it for educational purposes. So actually I'm going to drag this so that it appears after this. And then with this, in my editor, you'll see there's an option here for conditionals. So if I click conditionals, and it will take me to the conditional logic page. And so I can set this to hide if all of the following match. Or actually, I'm going to set it to show only if the specific field of what time would you like to eat lunch is 1 to 2 p.m. And this is helpful too if maybe you're doing a question, questionnaire, anything like that, where not everything might apply. So say, for example, in us in student activities, we have some questions that might be specific to commuter students. So if someone selected, I'm a commuter student here, then we could use conditional logic to only have the commuter student information posed. Now, if you save your form, then we can go ahead and view that in real time on the portal. And you'll see here is our content box. And then if I go here and I click a different time, nothing else appears. But if I click the 1 to 2 p.m., that's where we see this extra box here. And so that is a brief overview of how forms work. There's also a very helpful Q&A box here that you can reach out to and use at any time. It'll take you to their Presence Wiki page, who powers our LynXplore portal. And it also will, if you have a question that you can't find an answer to, you can actually connect with a member of their team, their customer service staff, to try to get that settled for you right away. If you are also having trouble, you are encouraged to reach out to myself, Ashley Talbot from Student Activities, atalbot@lesley.edu, and we can help try to solve your concern or issue through Presence. And that is the brief overview of how to make a Presence form.